Good morning, everyone. As president of the board, I'm opening the first hearing for Big Farm Section 2, Part 2 Drainage Improvement Petition. I'm going to go through a kind of a summary of what we're going to be doing today. Welcome, and again, welcome to everyone for being here today. There's a sign-in sheet circulating the room, and we ask that you please sign the sheet to indicate your attendance. We will hear a report from the county engineer in Soil and Water. There are copies available of the report as you came in. Following the presentation, there will be a time for questions from the board. And after board questions, the board will hear from any interested owners that wish to testify. Those speaking for or against the petition must be either an owner, as defined in section 6131.01 of the revised code, or an attorney speaking on behalf of an owner. Before accepting testimony for or against the petition, the board will acknowledge receipt of any landowner written testimony before hearing live testimony. We will first call all those wishing to testify in favor of the petition. We will then call for all those wishing to testify in opposition to the petition. And before testifying, we'll be asked to take an oath. After all those wishing to testify for or against the petition have been heard, there will be an opportunity for responsive or rebuttal testimony. We ask that we avoid redundancy. The board will close the public hearing after all testimony and evidence has been presented. After listening to testimony and report of the engineer, the board will decide whether to proceed with the survey and design or dismiss the petition. The board must consider the following factors in making the decision: whether proposed improvement is necessary, whether proposed improvements will be conducive to the public welfare, and whether the cost of the proposed improvements will be less than the benefits the improvements provides. If the board proceeds with the petition, the Delaware County Engineer will prepare plans, reports, and individual schedules of assessments for the project. When plans are complete, a final hearing will be set, notification will be given, and the board will consider the project. And it can be approved or unapproved at that point as well. With that, I'll open up Soil and Water.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brett Bacon, Deputy Administrator, Soil and Water Conservation District. I will read the first hearing report into the record. First hearing report, Big Bear Farms 2-2 and Gulf Village Watershed, drainage petition per ORC 6131, May 13th, 2024. This report has been prepared for the preliminary hearing on a drainage improvement petition filed by the Homeowners Association for Big Bear Farms on November 21st, 2023. The original petition has been signed by one individual representing 2 of the 31 parcels in the watershed. The course and termini of the requested improvements are quoted from the petition as follows. In Delaware County, Liberty Township, within Section 2, Part 2 of the Big Bear Farm subdivision, and generally following but not limited to the course and termini of existing improvements. This specifically includes but is not limited to the retention ponds located within the Big Bear Farm subdivision immediately south of Seldom Seen Road. The following is the nature of the work requested as quoted from the petition. To generally improve the drainage, both surface and subsurface, to a good and sufficient outlet by replacing, repairing, or altering the existing improvements as required and or creating new surface and subsurface drainage mains or laterals as requested by this petition, and to maintain these improvements. Petition process. This petition has been submitted according to section 6131 of the Ohio Revised Code, ORC, which authorizes the Board of Commissioners to act on behalf of benefited property owners to make drainage improvements. If the Board of Commissioners decides to proceed with a project, the costs related to the improvements and the development of plans, reports, and schedules are assessed to the landowners in the watershed according to the benefit received to their watershed acreage. These special assessments will be added to the property taxes for each property and can be spread over a maximum of a 15-year period. Property owners may also choose to pay their assessment in a lump sum payment prior to placement on their property taxes. Additionally, the improvements will be placed on the Delaware County Drainage Maintenance Program in perpetuity per ORC Section 6137, and the annual maintenance assessment will appear on property tax statements as a special assessment in the same manner as the construction assessments. These annual maintenance assessments are generally in the range of 2 to 5% of the construction assessment. The decision to approve a petition project is a 3-step process. First, a viewing of the proposed improvement is conducted for the commissioners to familiarize themselves with the watershed and general conditions. The commissioners conducted the viewing for this project by drone video on February 22nd, 2024. Next, a preliminary hearing is held to consider the initial feasibility of the proposal. It is this preliminary first hearing that is before us today. If this petition is approved, a final hearing will be conducted to further consider this petition. At that time, final details such as engineering plans and specifications, cost estimates, and a proposed schedule of assessments will be known. Existing conditions. The Delaware Soil and Water Conservation District and Delaware County Engineers Office have made the following observations of the project area using on-site evaluation and a review of available engineering plans, aerial photography, topographic mapping, and drone video. The Big Bear Farms 2-2 subdivision was designed to drain from south to north under Seldom Seen Road. Low flow discharge was intended to discharge to an existing subsurface drain pipe. Higher flows, or storm routing, was intended to discharge through a constructed swale on the Gulf Village Property Owners Association parcel in the Gulf Village Section 1 Phase A subdivision. The subsurface drain pipe intended for low flow discharge cannot be located and is assumed to not be functional. All drainage discharge is now flowing through the storm routing swale. The grade line of this swale is uneven and does not match the original engineering plans. As a result, the swale and surrounding area presents a mostly saturated condition and is overgrown with vegetation, which affects the overall performance of the drainage system. These conditions are indicators of an overburdened and unmaintained drainage infrastructure. While the existing drainage system still provides some degree of drainage benefit, it does not appear to function as a good and sufficient outlet. Estimate of cost factors favorable, unfavorable, benefit versus cost. ORC 6131 requires the county engineer to state in a report factors favorable and unfavorable to a proposed project, estimate the cost of the project, and state an opinion as to whether the benefits of the project exceed the cost. The following information is presented for your consideration. Construction estimate. The proposed project would begin at the right-of-way on the north side of Seldom Seen Road and extend downstream to the north approximately 500 feet to the first retention pond on the Gulf Village property. The primary items of work would include surface drain shaping and grading, the installation of subsurface drain pipe, removal of brush and vegetation, and seeding and mulching of disturbed areas. Project estimate, construction, $36,105.65. Project administration, survey and engineering, 10% of the construction estimate, $3,610.57. Drainage maintenance, ORC 6137, first year startup, 5% of the construction estimate, $1,805.28. Total project estimate, $41,521.50. Notes. It is important to understand that the above estimates are preliminary and made in the absence of a current detailed topographic survey of the project area. The above estimate does not contain a contingency amount. The amount of necessary contingency would be evaluated as part of the survey and engineering design of the project and added to the estimate presented at the final hearing. Contingency cost is typically estimated at 15 to 20% of the final construction estimate. As an example, a 15% contingency would add approximately $6,000 to the construction estimate. Should the project fail to be approved at the final hearing, the benefiting landowners, as defined by ORC 6131, may still be responsible for the cost of project administration, survey, and engineering design. Assessments. If the project moves forward to the second hearing, the Ohio Revised Code instructs the county engineer to calculate the assessments to individual property owners based on the benefits received from the improvements for the various properties in the watershed. ORC 6131 states that, quote, uplands that have been removed from their natural state by deforestation, cultivation, artificial drainage, urban development, or other man-made causes shall be considered as benefited by an improvement required to dispose of the accelerated flow of water from the uplands. Benefits are further defined by the ORC as elimination or reduction of damage from flood, removal of water conditions that jeopardize public health, safety, or welfare, and increased value of land resulting from the improvement. It should be noted that property owners are only assessed for those improvements that are located downstream from their properties. No property is assessed for improvements located upstream. The public agencies that own rights-of-way for public roads and other public lands are also assessed for both construction and maintenance costs in the same manner as private property owners. Individual parcel assessments are not calculated for the preliminary hearing and are only calculated if the petition moves forward to a second or final hearing. Factors favorable, unfavorable. Factors favorable to the improvement: improved surface and subsurface drainage in the area, improved outlet for existing stormwater system features, reduction of future deterioration of surface and subsurface drainage infrastructure, annual inspections, maintenance, and protection of the improvement in perpetuity. Factors unfavorable to the improvement: temporary land use disruption during construction, cost of construction and maintenance may be a burden to some landowners. Benefits versus cost. The lack of an adequate stormwater outlet for residential subdivisions, can negatively impact the drainage within the subdivision, potentially limiting the value of homes for resale. Should the existing system require repair, the cost can be excessive for individual property owners. Communities that have planned and well-maintained stormwater drainage infrastructures generally have higher resale values than those communities that are known to have a history of drainage problems or flooding. Other benefits that are commonly perceived as a result of drainage improvements focus on quality of life and positive neighborhood perception. Conclusions. Based on all of the information gathered and generated for this project, I believe this project is technically feasible and would adequately serve the project area's drainage needs. The testimony brought to the board by the landowners, however, as to whether the benefits of this project exceed the costs should be given significant consideration in the decision to move forward with this project. Should the current petition be approved to proceed to a final hearing, the petition bond will be returned and detailed plans, specifications, estimated costs, and a schedule of assessments would be prepared. Additionally, a benefit versus cost analysis will also be performed to further determine the feasibility of advancing this proposed project.
Thank you, Brett. Any questions from the board at this point?
No, thank you.
Do we have any written testimony?
We do not have any written testimony for this project.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, with that, we will proceed to testimony. First, read those speaking in favor. When you come forward, I would ask that you do three things: provide your name, your address, and if you know your parcel number. It helps us visually to know how it impacts you if you can provide that. And I think Brett can help you in some cases if you have a question. So with that, I will ask anyone who wants to speak in favor of the petition to come forward, be sworn in, and to provide that information.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is James Dembski. I live at 9471 Big Bear Avenue. Technically, I don't live in the section that is under this hearing, but I am representing the Homeowners Association for Big Bear Farms.
Okay.
I'm the one that originally submitted the paperwork to get this petition started.
Very well. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Can you proceed?
To me, it seemed like this was a simple situation. It's getting a little more complicated now because we're talking about costs, but it seemed to me clearly that things weren't working right. The ponds aren't at the right level. The outlet as designed is not functional, and it appeared to me that this was the only means available because of the issues on the other side of the road, not on Big Bear Farms property, to get things handled. So that's why I brought this forward, and I'm in favor of the petition, obviously.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in support of the petition? I will ask twice, and then we'll proceed to anyone opposed. Anyone who'd like to speak in support of the petition? With that, is there anyone here who'd like to speak in opposition to the petition? Second.
I'm in opposition to it.
I'm sorry?
I'm in opposition to the proposal.
Well, so you wish to speak? That's your call.
Well, I could give you my views, that's about all I could do.
If you provide your, that's the purpose of your testimony, sir.
Court savvy at all here.
So if you provide your name, your address, and the parcel number, if you know it.
I don't know the person. My name is Benjamin Burkus, and I'm at 3978 Ryland Court.
What was your address again? Your address again, sir?
3978 Ryland Court.
Okay.
I'm in the watershed area.
Okay, okay. Do you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You can proceed.
Okay, I moved there in 2010, and I've never had any kind of water problems, or none of my neighbors that I know of in that watershed area. Now, you gotta remember, if somebody buys where a pond is, they have to assume the responsibility of that pond rising and lowering. Okay, that's a retention pond. So I don't know why they're coming back to people that bought, when this water, supposedly, well, from what I understand is the Delaware engineers and the builders were supposed to set the grade on drainage. That's what I understand when they build a complex. So why are you coming back now 30 years later and asking the property owners to pay for fixing the grade or the water drainage? That's not right for the property owners. They had nothing to do with setting that grade. That should have been set when when that complex was being built, and make sure that the water drained properly. Not coming back 30 years and asking, hey, we need some more money now to do something with this water. I think it should be the county of Delaware that steps up and foots the bill to fix that. Because all this stuff was looked at by county engineers, from what I understand, when the different sections were being built there. And they all approved the water should go where it went.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Brett, you want to provide a little historical why
Sure.
we are where we are?
Yeah, my preliminary analysis of the plans for Big Bear Farms and for the Gulf Village area, I believe that the construction was according to the plan. The problem with the area is that the outlet depended on infrastructure that is off-site, is downstream from Big Bear Farms 2-2. So the drainage, think of it in this respect, the drainage is only as good as what it has to drain through downstream. That infrastructure I can speculate as to what happened to the original drainage outlet, but it would be nothing but speculation. I think the easiest way to put it is it cannot be located, it is obviously not functional. And so the way to fix that, to get the system to function as it was originally intended to function, that it was originally built to function as, is to address the project in the means that have been proposed. The county has no ability, no way to spend money. This is private drainage. There would be an assessment, obviously, to Liberty Township because it is a township road, but the county cannot go outside the right-of-way to fix this drainage. It is not the county's drainage to fix, it is the landowner's drainage. So their means of addressing this is through this process, and if the board approves the petition at this point, we will take a closer look and engineer a solution and come back for that final hearing. But my original, or my current evaluation is the system was built according to plan. It was not something that was constructed improperly. It was just simply dependent on infrastructure that nobody had control over and is not functional now.
Can you speak a little bit to why this legislation was created to handle situations like this?
Yes, so 6131 is the only part of the Ohio Revised Code, to my knowledge, that I've ever been educated about, that gives any unit of local government the ability to intercede in what amounts to private drainage concerns. It is the only part of state law that gives the board to, townships don't have the authority, basically anything outside of a municipality, the ability to have the access to fix a drainage problem and spend funds on the landowner's behalf to fix a drainage problem. Otherwise, the state leaves matters of drainage as private disputes between adjoining landowners.
Thank you. Any questions from board members or comments?
No, again, thank you, Brett. It's enlightening. But no, I think it's fairly straightforward to me. Commissioner Lewis?
Nothing, no, it's
Let's-
very straightforward.
let me
The
see if
law
there's
is
anyone else who wants to-
definite- The law's.
Yeah, oh, that's right, we
straightforward.
made
Is there anyone else who would like to speak, rebuttal? Anyone who wants to say anything additional on the positive side for the project? Okay, or you've already spoken on the opposed, so I don't have anything to add. Okay, with that, I'm going to get that in before
Sure,
we move forward. So
okay.
what's the board's preference?
My preference
You need
is,
to close the hearing first. Just make a note that you're closing the hearing.
Okay,
Yeah.
this meeting, hearing is closed, and we'll proceed to,
I find that the benefits outweigh the cost, and I think that's very clear. There's a problem there. This is the only thing set up within the law, the only way that it can be taken care of. So I would like to proceed with the next step, if the clerk will read the
Resolution number 24-391, in the matter of proceeding with a project survey and design for the Big Bear Farm Section 2, Part 2 watershed drainage improvement petition by Big Bear Farms Homeowners Association.
So moved.
Second.
motion made and seconded. I'll just, I believe this meets the criteria where the proposed improvement is necessary, where the proposed improvements will be conducive to the public welfare, and where the cost of the proposed improvements will be less than the benefits, based on information we have available to us today. In the purpose of this legislation, we are asked to perform this function to correct situations like this in our county and other commissioners in other counties, is to provide a conduit to get these kind of issues resolved, and that's the purpose of this. Now, there's no decisions today, other than, Brett, if we vote in favor, we'll put together a second report, and that's when we'll make a final decision, and we'll have more information in front of us at that time. I support it, and without any other objection, I call for the vote.
Vote on motion 24-391. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye. And if there's no other business to bring before us, we are